At one point. There we go. We're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Geeks and Company in another episode of the Geek Boutique. As I was telling our live Instagram audience, and as you can see here on the screen, fortunately, Geoff is not with us today. He's a little under the weather, but that is okay. We have two people filling in. We've got Mr. Doug, Art of the Con, and Mr. Ed, Snowhawk Cosplay. Guys, thanks for coming on tonight and saving the day here.
No, glad to be on.
Always happy to help.
I feel like I'd make a pretty boring 1 hour show on my own, so I really appreciate you guys being here. Now,
and I also figured out how to turn off the sound on my phone.
Did you really now?
I just went into the settings and deactivated my speaker.
Oh, well, that works.
Yeah,
perfect.
Nice, quick, and easy. So
there you go. And now I don't have any feedback, so that's amazing. Yep. Now we can talk about Geoff behind his back, says Victoria.
We talk about him to his face, so
yeah, exactly.
behind his back.
Why would we wait behind his back? Exactly.
Yeah, well, there you go. I want to talk about Niagara Comicon because, funny enough, both of you guys were at Niagara Comicon.
Yep.
Both of you guys did group cosplays with Geoff.
Yep.
But separate, which is funny.
Yeah. Doug had him on Friday.
No, on Saturday.
No, Saturday. You had him on Saturday, and I had him on Sunday.
Yep.
Well, there you go. So I want to talk about Niagara Comicon in a little bit, but before we get going, there's a new Thor: Love and Thunder trailer that came out 2 days ago. I'm assuming you guys have seen the final trailer. Well, the final trailer. I don't know if it's the final trailer. I guess it's the first full trailer, really, is what it is. What did you think? Because it was a very, very different tone than the first trailer that we got. The first trailer was super comedic and made it look like it was a full slapstick show. This new one is very dramatic, and you actually hear Gore talking, and you get a little bit more of what the actual story is going to be about. So what are your initial thoughts of the new Thor trailer so far?
I'm going to geek out and say I'm really excited to see what they do with Beta Ray Bill, because
they name him by name.
By name. So I've always loved that character, basically horse Thor. So be interested to see how they do that. Sorry, go ahead.
So, and Beta Ray Bill for me is has one of the greatest debuts in comics, in all comics. I always loved Simonson's run, and just the introduction of Beta Ray Bill on how he was worthy right off the bat to wield Mjolnir, and the whole storyline and the creation of Stormbreaker in the comics, I absolutely love. And so yeah, we've already seen a glimpse of him in Ragnarok, so I'm hoping we get a full Beta Ray Bill.
I mean, they almost have to, right? I mean, Can they really name drop him like that in a trailer and not have him in the movie? I mean, I guess it could, but I feel like the hardcore fans are just going to lose their freaking minds if they don't do it.
On this shelf behind me, so the people on YouTube, and then there we go on the Instagram, and that's my Thor shelf, and in the corner is all my Beta Ray Bills. So I have every Beta Ray Bill I could find. So if we get to see him on screen, I'm going to probably just have a heart attack and just die. But it would be a great death.
Doug, any other thoughts on the Big Bill?
Well, I know they've changed the story on how Jane becomes the goddess of thunder.
It does look like they're changing the story, yes.
Because when Thor sees Jane, he's like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of surprises, I think. And Bale looks amazing as Gore the God Butcher, with a quick snippet that we saw.
Yeah, I wish they would have stuck a little bit more to, or a little bit closer to, the traditional Gore design. I feel like we've gotten crazy enough aliens in the MCU so far that they didn't have to make him look fully human with just a face paint, basically, right?
It's going to make cosplaying him a lot easier.
It's going to make cosplaying him a lot easier, that's for sure. And you're probably going to see a ton of Gore cosplay, because, I mean, he looks pretty cool. He looks badass.
Yeah.
There's a line that he says at the beginning of the trailer, and it friggin' gave me goosebumps right off the bat with the music and the tone. So I can't wait to see what they do with him, for sure.
Well, we've already seen enough of the Jason Aaron run, like the whole God Butcher, God Butcher, God Bomb, um, Jane becoming Thor. I'm really curious how much are they going to take from that storyline. I would love to see old Thor, like in the Jason Aaron run, where he had the three stories being told at the same time: young Thor, modern Thor, and then future Thor. Like I that would be very cool. Like I'd love to see old man Thor missing his eye, missing his arm, fighting against Gore. But got to believe in Taika Waititi. He's everything he touches is great.
Yep.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned after the first trailer. It looked a little too slapsticky for me, but after seeing this trailer, now I'm back on the Thor bandwagon. It looks so good. It looks amazing. I don't want to spend all evening speaking about Thor, but we will change the subject to Niagara Comicon.
Yep.
So first off, were you guys all there all 3 days?
Yep.
So what were your cosplay lineups for Comic-Con? Doug, how about you start?
Okay. Friday I was Darkseid. Saturday I was Ozymandias, and then Sunday I was the Daring Dragoon.
Very cool. Ed?
So Friday I was Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And on Saturday in the morning I was Ant-Man, and then switched over to Vision in the afternoon. And then on Sunday I was Champ Kind in the Anchorman team with Geoff and Crazy Mike and Cosplins and Alley Cosplay. So we were the Channel 4 news team.
The people watching, I mean, not only was the Anchorman group cosplay amazing, your Vision threw me for a loop at Fan Expo last year. It was amazing. Like I did not expect not only to see a Vision, but when you 3D printed that mask, it gave it a whole other dimension to the costume that it was really neat. I will say that it was really neat.
With the Vision mask, because I looked at different ways to be the character, and I decided on 3D printing. And of course, I originally looked into getting it commissioned, and then I figured by time I was going to pay to have somebody do it, I thought, well, let me spend the money. So I bought a 3D printer, and it's been a love-hate relationship over the past year trying to figure out how to do it. Like the very first thing I ever printed was the Vision mask. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I can do this. No, it isn't that easy. I just got lucky on the first shot. And really the file that I bought, it was just designed really well that you could print it without any problems. So, but
yeah, 3D printing can be very frustrating.
It's a lot of fun being Vision.
Yeah, 3D printing is one of those things where people think, oh yeah, get a 3D printer, you can make all these things, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of frustrating failures, and
when your print falls over halfway through because
your head knocks a support, breaks it, and then all of a sudden you're printing in midair and your whole print's gone, and the next morning you wake up to a pile of spaghetti on your bed. I mean, it's the joys of 3D printing for sure. Doug, you were Ozymandias at on Saturday, you said?
Yes. Yeah, we had the Watchmen. We had Geoff was the comedian. Crazy Mike was Night Owl. Loki Quinn cosplay was the Marionette. Sarnia Assassin was Rorschach, and I was Ozymandias. It was a fun crew.
Yeah, definitely a fun crew, and Mike's been going all out with his cosplays lately, eh? Like, I mean, from his Batman to his Owlman to what was the other one too that I was like, holy shit! Bud.
He also did Vision on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he was Vision on Friday, and then Sunday he was Brick, which he's just like the natural.
That's
Brick.
right. That's right. Yeah, that was very fitting. Very fitting.
It was eerie how close it was.
He didn't want to be the character, but then it really wasn't much of a stretch. He could really, like, he was the perfect Brick. It almost like every single person in the Anchorman team ended up getting assigned a character that was a natural fit for them. So it was, and of course, like with Geoff as Ron Burgundy, like you can't get better casting than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm looking at the picture now, and man, that's genius.
Yep.
Him as Brick, I think, is well. I mean, you guys all look good. I'm not gonna lie. You guys all look amazing.
Well, we have some photos that I cannot wait until we get them. Very frank pics we shot with Greg, and oh my god, even just some of the original teasers, I am absolutely in love with. Like they're so good. I cannot wait. I cannot wait till we get the full set and we can start sharing them.
Tell me a little about the weekend, guys. I mean, you've told us about your cosplays, but how did the weekend go? I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't.
It was, from my perspective, it was great. I got to see a lot of people I haven't seen in several years, because some of them weren't able to make it to either Fan Expo or Montreal or Toronto Comicon, so I had to go see them there basically. So that was great. I finally met Ed, because I've heard about him, and I'm sure we've crossed paths many times. But
well, usually you're Lobo or something like that. So it was actually when I got to see his Aussie, it's like the first time I've actually seen you face to face with no face paint on, no nothing.
Exactly.
So, like when we actually shook each other's hands, it's like, yeah, we know who each other are. Now we can finally introduce ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Actually, you guys did meet at Comic-Con. I have video footage of the two of you standing next to each other, Ed as Vision and Doug as Lobo.
Well, but then
at Toronto Comic-Con, yeah.
So then,
yeah,
basically, we can't see each other's face in that point either.
No, and it's funny that you say that, because I had no idea that was you as Vision, and then you took your mask off and you said something to me, but you had just shaved, and I didn't recognize you at all, and I was like, oh yeah, and and then somebody's like, "Oh yeah, that's Ed." And like, "Where's Ed?" Like, "Oh, he's Vision." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, what?" Yeah, I didn't recognize you at all that day. That was pretty funny. Yeah. So how was?
And what's funny for me is, I usually do things where my face is covered or I'm wearing makeup, and when I'm not, people have no clue who I am.
Yeah, I mean that's I guess the great part of cosplaying with masks and stuff, right? Is unless they know. That they don't know, right?
Yep.
I remember standing next to Tanith and talking to her for a few minutes, and she's going, "Who the hell is this?" When I was in the Greatest American Hero costume, where my face was completely exposed, and after a while, she was like, "Oh, Doug." So,
how was your Comic-Con, Ed?
It was good. It was extremely busy on Saturday though. Like Saturday morning was super busy. Like it was very hard to, like when we showed up as Ant-Man and Wasp, it just, pulled the plug after about 45 minutes and had to leave because it was just too many people, like, which I guess is a good thing. But all in all, no, it was a lot of fun. Like Sunday was my favorite day by far. Like that's the just the Anchorman group. It was just so much fun just to cut loose and just goof around.
Yeah, when it gets too much at one point, it's Comic-Con last year. Toronto Comic-Con was one of the prime examples. Saturday afternoon at one point, it gets so much, and there's so many people, you almost get claustrophobic, and it's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. Like, too much. I'll go hang out outside and get some fresh air, and
Well, and especially since we're getting back into the swing of it too. Like it's been a couple of years since cons. We're not used to big groups of people. So yeah, it can be a little bit much at times, but no, I am looking forward to getting back into the con season.
I had a great time in Niagara because my hotel was about 2 kilometers away from the convention center, and I walked from my hotel to the convention center in costume. And the reactions I was getting as Darkseid walking down the street was rather interesting.
I like doing that. I remember one year I took the train into Toronto for Fan Expo, so we walked from Union Station in our costumes, and everybody's seeing us. Why? Everybody's like staring, like, what's going on? Everybody freaking out of seeing these big giant 6 feet guys walking down the street in all these fancy costumes, and yeah, I always thought that was kind of neat myself, but for sure. So Niagara Comic Con was 3 days. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Is that typically what it is every year? Well, I mean, obviously, the last couple of years probably didn't happen, but is Niagara Comic Con usually a 3-day event?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's always been a 3, or
It's always
the last several years it's been a 3-day event. I can't remember if it was a 2-day event like back in like 2013, 2014. But,
right.
Because I've been going to that one. I guess 2014 was my first Niagara Falls Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
I used to only go down for a day, and then I, eventually make a whole weekend out of it.
Well, and that's the thing. We wanted to do that this year. We wanted to go down, make a whole weekend out of it, but then we're going to Niagara in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
For a weekend, so it's like, at one point you gotta, pick your battles. I suppose pick your battles and decide what you're gonna do. I'm assuming you're planning on going in next year.
Oh yeah, no, Niagara Falls, Toronto Comic Con, Fan Expo, Hamilton. Those are my big 4.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Hamilton Comic Con this year, I have another event on the Saturday, so I probably only go on the Saturday. London Comic Con, I'm going to miss that one altogether because I have an event all weekend. So, but those are my big ones.
Wicked. Hey, sorry, go ahead, Doug.
I'm hoping that they do fan days this year at Christmas time like they used to. Because I have an idea for a Christmas Lobo.
Interesting. Are you gonna?
I'm working on it for a bit, but I need to buckle down and spend some time with the sewing machine.
Yeah, you gonna let us in on what you're planning there?
Have you seen the movie The Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell as Santa?
The Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell as Santa. I don't think I have. Is this a newer movie?
It's on Netflix. It's been out for a couple of years now.
I don't think I've seen it now.
It's a different take on Santa. It's not the fat man in the big suit that we're used to. He's got like a duster, full length duster, and it's pretty kick ass. So I thought that would work. So
you're gonna do a Christmas Chronicle style Lobo.
Santa Lobo, yeah.
Santa Lobo.
With a candy cane colored hook.
Oh, I like that. I got to work that in there.
Yeah, I'm looking at some pictures from this right now, and yeah, I like the look.
Yep. Add some skulls and some spikes, and rip the sleeves off.
I like the look a lot. Yeah. Very cool.
So.
Guys, I'm assuming you've seen the Prey trailer.
Oh my God, yes.
Yep.
I mean, I'm obviously huge Predator fan. We had a quick teaser trailer that came out about a week ago, I guess. And then the new trailer that I think came out yesterday or 2 days ago. The first teaser was really just that. You really didn't see a whole lot. The second one goes a whole lot more into the story of, I guess, this kid who wants to prove herself as a hunter and I guess goes up against the Predator. What are, again, your initial thoughts on the trailer?
The thing I thought was interesting about it is how they can take the Predator as a character and put him in any timeline, any environment, and he always works. They always work because, like, hey, we're all old guys, so we all remember when Predator 2 came out in theater, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, no Arnold Schwarzenegger, and what are they doing in the city, and why is Danny Glover there? Now, when you look over everything Predator's been in, like, you go, 35 years later, and or 32 years later, and Predator 2 works a lot better now than when it did when it came out. Yep. Now, because you've seen Predator, like, you've seen people on Predator's planet, you've seen the Predator in the Arctic, or sorry, the Antarctic, fighting aliens. Like, it looks very cool. It's a different take on it, especially different time period. So it'll be interesting to, like, I was kind of surprised that they weren't like completely stunned at like, what are these lasers? What are these explosions?
Mhm.
I thought maybe we'd see some reaction like that because it is in the past, which they should have no knowledge of what that stuff is. But no, all in all, it looks like it's going to be very cool.
I think
Yeah,
that's a key point you just mentioned there, Ed. I think we're not, the movie itself is not what they're telling us the trailer is. I think they're misdirecting us a little bit.
I think so too.
Yeah. But sorry, Doug, I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
I was going to say what really what I really enjoyed in it was at the beginning when she was hunting the bear and she ran into, I think it looks like a beaver lodge or something, and the bear starts trying to get at her, and all of a sudden it just drops and gets lifted up in the air, and you can see like the shimmer of the camouflaged predator. It's just like, okay, this is going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Guys, Mr. Crazy Mike has joined us here online. Saying hello, brothers. Funny enough, Mike, we were just talking about you and your Rick cosplay. Yeah, I when I saw the first teaser trailer, I thought the concept to be a little bit weird. That you've got some primitive native child facing off against the hunter of all hunters, and how that kid is supposed to somehow beat a predator. But now that we've seen more in the second trailer, like I said, I feel they're misdirecting us. I think that the predator, I don't know. I don't feel it's just going to be one of those simple Arnold versus the Predator type movie. I think it's going to be more in line with what we saw in the first Aliens versus Predator, where they maybe even team up against something else. Ooh. I think is maybe what we're actually seeing, because, like you said, they're not surprised. They've seen him before.
Yeah.
They don't seem surprised at the lasers and the cannon and the fire. Anyway, yeah.
It would be really cool if they went up against something like, say, the Wendigo.
That would be neat. That would be neat if the prey is not actually the child, but some other mythical creature. Exactly. That would actually be a very, very cool concept, which I think is something in line with what they're doing. I could be 100% wrong, but yep. I'm known for coming up with crazy, not conspiracies, but crazy theories that tend to be 100% wrong. But, you know.
Well, the simple fact that the predator saved her from the bear suggests that they are not there just to hunt the indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
Dutch shows up in a time machine. He said, "I told you I'll be back."
I mean, you know, you never know these days, right? We've seen so many weird things with movies these days when they're doing reboots or soft reboots or relaunches or whatever you want to call them, that it's hard to know what they're doing. But this does feel like it's more of a soft reboot of the franchise to me. It feels like they're trying to tell a new set of stories. They even changed the look of the Predator. He doesn't have a metal biomask. He's got what looks like a bone biomask. I don't know if you guys seen the pictures online.
Well, it also could be like, because, you know, they're flintlock rifles, so we're probably, you know, the 100 and, you know, 1860s, somewhere in there. Could be what the Predators were wearing back then too. You know,
it very well could be. You're right. It very well could be. So I think we're gonna have a whole new thing, something completely different. They tried to do something different with the Super Predator in Predators, or was it the Predator?
I think it's the Predator, because
it was in the Predator.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Predator, but I did see Predators, and I did enjoy that one where they took the prey to the planet. That
was cool. That was Predators. You're correct.
Yeah, because that's the Robert Rodriguez one.
Yes. The last one is then the Predator.
Yeah.
Which was filmed in Calgary.
I haven't. Yeah.
Which this new one, it was also filmed in that area, in the Calgary area. Geeks and Company friend Ben Eady actually worked on the movie.
Oh, cool.
He was working on the Fraggle Rock reboot actually for Apple TV, and had to leave that a little bit short to go and start production on Prey, the new Predator movie. He's been pretty tight-lipped, haven't been able to get anything out of him on that, but I really can't see what they do. I really can't wait to see. Sorry, what they do.
So since this one is a Hulu exclusive, I'm wondering if it's going to come to Disney Plus Star.
It probably will.
I would expect so because other things that are Hulu exclusives are doing that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's same day and date release versus.
That I don't know. Have they even announced the release date?
Was it the trailers? I thought the trailer said like August 5th or something.
Yes, that seems right.
Yeah, August 5th would make sense. That's a Friday, so.
Initial release day, August 5th. You're correct.
Yeah. So, probably find out in the next month or so on Canadian Disney Plus.
Yeah, I would hope that a friggin' movie that they filmed up here in Canada would come out here at the same time as it comes out in the U.S.
Well, and plus all the other Predator stuff and Alien stuff is on Star, anyways.
It is
Disney Plus. So
you're right.
Why not? I'm hoping we get it.
Yeah, it'd be silly if it wasn't. My main concern is, do you guys think they're going to give this Hulu movie the budget that Netflix, for example, or Disney Plus, for example, gives for their own shows and movies? I mean, we've seen pretty big budget Netflix movies out there, but Hulu movies...
No. They're putting a lot of investment into Disney Plus as a property. Like they're putting a lot of money into the Star Wars projects and the Marvel projects. So I can't see why they wouldn't put it into the Fox projects for movies.
Well, yeah, like they brought back James Earl Jones on Obi-Wan, as a voice of Vader.
So they did, but did they? So my understanding is it is his voice, but is it actually him saying those lines? Because he doesn't sound like what James Earl Jones sounds like today. He sounds like what James Earl Jones sounded like 40 years ago.
Well, they could be putting it through quite a bit of filters, trying to.
But is it actually him recording lines? Like, do we know that?
Well, IMDb lists him as
they do,
as the voice of Vader.
Hmm.
They also list Hayden Christensen as being Vader.
Well, he is.
Is he?
He is. He's in the suit. We're also going to see him out of. Well, we've already seen part of his face.
Yeah.
That was him.
Okay.
We're apparently going to see more of him out of the suit, and we're apparently also going to see him in a flashback scene of him as Anakin, like a younger. They're going to de-age him, and we're going to see him as a younger Anakin.
Okay.
But he is in the suit. There's I think it was in the not this week's episode. I don't know if you guys have watched yesterday's episode. Have you yet?
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't think it was in yesterday's episode. I think it was in last week's episode, where he says something and you can kind of hear both James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen's voices coming through. Like you could distinctively hear both of them. So that was kind of neat, and I'm assuming they're going to do more of that, but we'll see. That was actually going to be my next thing on my list. Actually, was going to be Kenobi. So you guys are up to date. Are you enjoying the show so far? I know I'm digging it.
I love one of the characters, played by Indira Varma.
Mm-hmm.
Saw her first on Torchwood. Loved her.
Yeah.
She's just a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
Hope she gets more. She's only listed as being in 2 episodes. So I hope she gets some more.
She dies in the first season of Torchwood, doesn't she?
Yeah, she dies in the first episode of Torchwood, but she comes back.
First episode. There you go. She does come back. That's right. That's right.
So, for me, I'm absolutely loving the show. Like it's one of those I can't wait to watch it when it drops. Like Mandalorian, I was slow onto the Mandalorian bandwagon, but also I hate Baby Yoda with a passion. So, like at least with, I don't know, I like what they've done with Obi-Wan. It was one of the things I saw is like nothing like watching a guy with 10 years of PTSD trying to get back into the world again. So, it's kind of interesting seeing him actually get out in the world after being a hermit. And you kind of go back and you take elements of that. And then it kind of actually, he does a really good job on making Alec Guinness's performance in A New Hope even better. Because,
he does.
Yeah.
like, it's almost like you can see elements of Alec Guinness in this version of Obi-Wan.
Totally.
And no, I really like it. And you go back and you think about Alec Guinness and just a guy who's been hiding out for 18 years.
He's purposely acting like Alec Guinness as well. Like he's even said, like he's practiced speaking the way Alec Guinness speaks.
Yeah.
To and he looks much older, obviously.
Yeah,
And
very,
I
very
saw
similar mannerisms and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I saw a picture of Obi-Wan, of Ewan McGregor's face stitched to Alec Guinness's face side by side. And I guarantee you they've done some camera or editing trickery there to make him look more like Alec Guinness, because when you stitch them together, they look he actually looks like a younger version of Alec Guinness in this image or in this show. I'm pretty sure they did some stuff to make him look more like him, because when you look at him in real life, I was actually watching a series of interviews with him and Hayden Christensen. He looks nothing like he looks in the show. So they've done things to him to make him look more like Alec Guinness as well, for sure.
It's like last week's episode, like the full reveal of Vader and like Vader just going on a rampage. It's almost like Rogue One and Obi-Wan are giving us the Vader we always wanted, like just totally brutal, and because and you never really got that in the other three movies, but just Vader coming onto the scene and just like grabbing people or snapping people's necks and just vicious, and even sorry, spoiler if you haven't seen last night's episode, but even Obi-Wan with the lightsaber last night and taking out the stormtroopers, like it was like, oh my god, it's so good. Like, it's giving me what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was safe anyway because stormtroopers can't hit anything anyway.
Fair enough.
Oh, one of my favorite parts in the episode, though, was when they're in the tunnel and the window's going to crack, and he, lets it go, and they're running away, and you see all the stormtroopers just floating in the flooded hallway. And I thought that was brilliant. It was like, we don't get to see this in Star Wars, so getting to see a bunch of drowned stormtroopers, I thought was pretty cool.
The scene in the dark.
Yes. Oh,
when you only see him when he lights his lightsaber and it's shing shing, and then he turns it off and it goes dark again.
yes.
that was amazing. They played it off really well, and you can slowly seeing him. You're slowly seeing him getting back to form. When he first faces Vader, I mean, he gets his ass whooped, but I mean, he's not. You could tell he's trying to reconnect with the Force. He's trying so hard.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to see him getting back into it, and it's fun because by the time we get to A New Hope, he's back to being Obi-Wan. It's an older Obi-Wan, but he's back to being Obi-Wan. He's no longer that broken, that broken man that we see in Episode 1. And I think that episode did a great job at showing us where he's at now.
Yes.
Now, I have seen the one meme going around of this show kind of explains why Han and Leia's son is called Ben.
It 100% does.
But my only question now is, I wonder what they'll do by the time they get to the 6th episode, because when A New Hope is like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. You fought with my father, or you served with my father in the Clone Wars. If you look at that message, it's very cryptic, because it's almost like she has no idea who Obi-Wan is. Now you kind of make it wonder, is that all an act? Like, if there'll be, like, what's going to happen by time of the end? Like, what kind of connection does Leia and Ben have?
Well, I mean,
does she know him as Obi-Wan Kenobi? Or does she only know him as Ben?
Oh, maybe that's the thing. Oh,
I think she only knows him as Ben at this point, right?
So maybe she doesn't even know his last name is Kenobi.
I mean, I'm assuming that Reva, in her questions, probably asked her, "Where's Obi-Wan?" or "Where's Kenobi?" or whatnot. But I don't know.
Okay, now we got to rewatch. Got to rewatch the 3
I got to
episodes,
rewatch it again and see. Jennifer, our director of operations, it gives me the old school, excited, anxious butterflies the movies gave me, the original movies. Yeah, okay, so that's something I wanted to get into because I actually read somebody's post on Facebook today, and I should have saved it so that I could reread it back to you. But so far, every episode has been very representative of every episode in the prequel and the original trilogy. And here's what I mean by that. Episode 1, you see Vader. You don't see Vader. You see young Luke playing pod racer like Anakin was racing pods. Episode 2, you see a clone trooper. Attack of the Clones. Episode 3, Obi-Wan burns the way Anakin burned in episode 3. Episode 4, he's sneaking through the hallways like he did in A New Hope on the Death Star. See a trend there? Episode 5 is likely going to have to do with Empire. And episode 6 is going to relate directly to Jedi, the Return of the Jedi. I think that's the theme that they're going on with the 6 episodes. It could be, again, 100% wrong, but that's the feel that I'm getting. Every episode has a very different feel. And this one, you can't tell me the last episode, yesterday's episode, didn't give you a New Hope feel when he's crawling through the corridors, sneaking through the corridors, and hiding from the stormtroopers.
And plus the communicator, like the communicator.
The communicator and rescuing the princess. And
the communicator's left on the counter, just like C-3PO before they went into the closet or into the storage room. Or would episode 5 reference Yoda somehow?
Episode 5 may likely reference Yoda somehow. Yes.
Because that was...
Could we end up on Dagobah somehow?
Ooh, that would just...
Because Yoda is still alive in this time frame, right? Yep. Could we somehow end up on Dagobah?
That would be cool.
And that's how he's going to actually learn how to communicate with Qui-Gon.
Yoda
did tell him he had a new lesson for him.
Yes.
We've never seen that lesson. Could that be it? Could episode 5...
He did ask for help from Qui-Gon, but Qui-Gon never showed. If Qui-Gon shows up as Force Ghost, I'm done. It's the best Disney Plus series, like the best Disney Plus Star Wars series ever.
I think it's going to be a missed opportunity if he doesn't.
Because, really, I think he could easily come back to the character. I think if Disney Plus came out with a Qui-Gon series, leading up to taking on Obi-Wan as a Padawan, I think that would be amazing.
I very much doubt Liam Neeson would be up for something like that, but I agree that would be amazing. But they would somehow have to either recast him or CG him or...
I don't know. With
I don't know.
Of either straight to DVD or action movies that he's done, that
fair enough.
I can't see him not coming back for a paycheck.
Fair enough.
It would have to be a good sized paycheck, I think. But
yeah.
Disney doesn't have shallow pockets, so.
Yeah, and I feel like they also missed the boat a little bit with Qui-Gon by killing him right in the first episode, because you've got a Jedi who's very different than the other Jedis.
Yeah.
Right? You've got a Jedi who doesn't care about what the Council thinks. He cares about what the Force thinks. He's probably the only real, pure, true Jedi left. And they killed him off right at the beginning.
And you've got a character who, with one movie, stands out as being still an amazing character.
With one movie. Two-thirds of a movie, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, Jar Jar.
I still think they should have made Snoke Jar Jar. Their big reveal of Snoke should have been that he was a clone of Jar Jar.
Jeff
would kill me if he heard this, but...
I still have I'm still a member of the conspiracy theory that believes the Phantom Menace was Jar Jar.
Was Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's too much evidence that he could have easily... I think they switched gears because, you check out those YouTube videos of Jar Jar, and he's not that stupid.
Yeah, I don't think that he is.
Yeah, I think he was the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I mean, again, another missed opportunity. I think
Yep.
they made a character that was meant for the younger kids,
I was just thinking.
and it missed the mark with the younger kids. I think, but
I'm just thinking with Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan is a Padawan of Qui-Gon, and he's in his TV series where a girl is kidnapped and he has to go get her back. So basically, Taken Star Wars style.
that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
He's following his master's footsteps.
That's a very good point. We only need that scene on the phone now. I don't know who you are.
I have a particular set of skills.
I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah, that should be Qui-Gon's Force Ghost speech to Obi-Wan. Yeah, I think it would be a missed opportunity if they didn't bring Qui-Gon's Force Ghost in here.
Yeah.
Especially since he's already been trying to communicate with Qui-Gon now since the beginning. It'd be silly again not.
Well, and also if you go back to just the way of telling a story, like you don't pull a gun in the first act if you don't show it in the third act. So they've already mentioned that Qui-Gon has learned a new part of the Force. So unless they show Qui-Gon, why did they even bother saying it in Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it was to explain the whole Force Ghost thing since we hadn't seen it in the first 3 episodes.
I hope we get it as a payoff.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Yoda's involved in that.
Yeah,
I really would.
And that would follow your theory.
Yeah. So, and my theory is exactly episode 5. We're gonna see somehow Yoda training Obi-Wan to communicate with Qui-Gon, and episode 6 is gonna be the final showdown between Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yes.
And Obi-Wan's somehow gonna beat Vader, and is somehow gonna say, "See, you still have shit to learn," and that's how Vader is still the learner. Well, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Well, yeah, because somehow Obi-Wan's going to win, and he's going to throw it in his face that you're not all that, mister. And that's how that line gets generated in A New Hope.
Well, he's got to have his hand cut off at some point, too, right? Because Vader had a mechanical hand like Luke did.
Yeah, but he got his hand cut off in episode 3.
Oh, that's right.
He got both his hands, both his arms, and... No, that's not true. Both his legs. I think he still has his hands, doesn't he? Because he's trying to crawl through the dirt.
He lost one arm to...
one arm and both legs.
He lost one arm to Dooku, and then he lost his legs to Obi-Wan, and then then he couldn't figure out how to play Floor is Lava.
I'm not gonna lie. I was very, very annoyed with how they did that. How they just killed him, or burned him to a crisp, turn him into bacon. Because to me, he was still Anakin, right? You spent 3 movies as him as your hero, him as the face of the movie, and then boom, oh, now he's the bad guy, and let's burn him. And it's like, holy fuck, like what is going on here? Well, yeah, I was very happy originally with episode 3.
Also, guys like us, we had guys of our age, we had like from 1983 up until
1999.
2005 when Revenge of the Sith came out.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we had like 22 years to think of, okay, how did Anakin become Darth Vader? Like I always thought he had died or got burned up in a flight or a fighter crash. Not figuring he got lit on fire in Mustafar.
Yeah, I don't know. I always heard that he had burned in a volcano. That was always the story that I had heard. I didn't realize it was a volcanic planet. I mean, that's how they played it out. But I had always heard that he had been burned in a volcano. I don't know where that story came from. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what I always assumed.
Mount Doom.
There you go.
He was the One Ring.
Well, that's why he turned. There you go.
Yeah.
He had the ring.
Yeah. Gollum went in after him.
Yep.
Hey, yeah, guys, we've been chatting already for 45 minutes. I did want to chat a little bit before we went about Fan Expo this year.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm going to be going to Fan Expo. We're going to be going at least Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if we're going to be there Friday. Not going to be there Thursday, that's for sure. But I'm still up in the air about Friday. What are your plans for Fan Expo? First of all, are you even going? I'm assuming you both are.
I don't know that I will be.
Oh, really now?
Um, my wife and I have a big vacation planned early in August, so the wallet may be a little lean.
Yeah, fair enough. Whereabouts are you located again, Doug?
I'm in Toronto.
Oh, so you are in Toronto itself.
Yep.
So
if I do go, it'll be like I'll go down one day or something.
right, you don't need to get a hotel or long travel or anything like that. You can just go and go back home after.
Hop on the metro and go downtown.
Yeah, all right, that's all right. Ed,
I will be there all 4 days. I've already got the hotel booked. I've already got the tickets bought. So it's just a matter of shoring up the cosplay lineup right now.
that's what I was just about to ask. Have you made any decisions on your cosplay lineup yet?
There's going to be a big Lord of the Rings group, so I'm in that.
Yeah, Lindsay's asked me to be part of that as well, but I don't want to get into that right now. Again, that's another costume that I just can't afford to invest in right now. But
I am the luckiest member of the fellowship because Lindsay already has my wig, my ears, and my costume. So all I have to do is just put it on.
Well, there you go. That's all right.
So that was really easy for me. As
And
far
they're
as
doing
everything,
that on the Saturday, I think, right?
yeah. As far as anything else, I have a few things I'm thinking of, but again, yeah, I might end up doing Fan Expo the exact same thing as I did for Toronto Comicon and Niagara Falls. I show up with my bin, and what I wear is whatever we're thinking is going to work that morning.
Is that what you really did for Comic Con? You just brought a shit ton of costumes and just said,
Toronto Comic Con, I brought 4, and Fan Expo in October, I brought 18.
18 costumes.
Now, I brought one of my bins.
Okay, you got to explain a little further now. Okay. 18 costumes.
I
what
brought
the hell?
18 cosplays, but one of my bins had like 11 Zentai suits in it. So like
fair enough.
Yeah, so like there was a whole bunch of there was Quantum Suit Zentai, there was 3 different Spider-Mans, there was Mr. Fantastic. So yeah, I'd like to say I brought 18, but it was one bin, and most of it
just all your Zentai suits in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like even Niagara Falls, I brought 5 with me. Just because.
And you ended up wearing 4.
Yeah.
Well, I always tell people if you're traveling to a con, take an extra costume just to be safe.
Yep.
Because I went to, I can't remember whether it was Hamilton or London. I put on one of my cosplays, which has the blue morph suit, and got everything on, had the makeup on, and the zipper blew out on me. And because the back is exposed, I couldn't put anything over it to close it. So I ended up going in civilian clothes, and it didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've started bringing extras just in case, because you might have a certain plan. I'm going to do this, and you might show up and, I had Ant-Man on Saturday morning, but by the time it was really warm on Saturday morning at Niagara. Mm-hmm. The building was really warm. I was melting in the suit. I'm like, no, like this is too warm. I'm already sweating. The Ant-Man's all leather and I'm wearing a bucket. I'm done. Let's go switch over to Vision. At least you're wearing a bucket, but it's spandex. So it's one of those, you never know what the venue's going to be like. You don't know how many people they're going to be. You could have technical failures in your cosplay. Like I always try to at least wear cosplay either here in my backyard before I go somewhere. But I've seen some cosplayers, their suits disintegrate on public transit on their way to Fan Expo with no backup.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
and one of our group also on Sunday, he was in 3 different cosplays because they kept failing on him. So
yeah, and I've also, you never know. You could be part of one group and then part of another group. So that's happened to me in the past too, where there was one con I had to bring 3 suits, and I did 3 costume changes during the day because I had 3 different photo shoots booked. So it's nice to have variety, just in case.
Yeah, it's funny you say the whole thing about trying your suits on. Like every time we go out in our Predators, we always do a dry run, either the day or weekend before. Make sure everything's still good. Make sure we've reworked out all the kinks in the new additions. This Zentai suit that's under there, it's now 3 years old. So just like you said, I actually bought another one. So hopefully it's here in time for Fan Expo, and that way I'll have a spare suit in case I do blow out of that one somehow. I could just switch into the new one, and away you go, right? So
the weekend before a con, I always do what I call a cosplay audit. Go through everything, make sure everything is there anything that needs to be repaired? Is there anything that needs to be replaced? You know, you still have time to get stuff sorted.
Yeah.
Particularly if I'm traveling.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Well, and I also have my checklist.
Yep, yes. That's another good point. It's a checklist.
Because I go through and it's like, okay, every single cosplay, but even on Saturday morning, I show up with Ant-Man, had everything in bins, had it in the car, got there, and I forgot my gloves. So there's a few shots where I'm just standing with my hands behind my back because I haven't got my gloves on. How can you go subatomic if you've got bare hands?
Yeah. Jennifer is just replying back to the whole busting out of your costume, saying, no, that's awful. JS and Robin, an emergency kit for the Predators for that reason. Yeah. We always have a backpack with like hot glue and super glue and gaffer tape and gorilla tape and, you know, extra batteries, whatever we might need.
Yeah.
Portable soldering iron, some solder, anything that we could need in case we need to fix our costumes when we're on the con floor, right? That's for sure.
Well, and at Fan Expo, when Cosplay for Cure used to have the Cosplay Recovery Lounge, that was always helpful as well.
They didn't do that this year, did they?
No, like 2019 was the last time that they were there.
Yeah.
That was real handy because, you know, sometimes when you're con crunching and you're not quite done yet and you show up, like there's one year that my brother Ash, we had to hot glue him into his Loki costume.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. It was like it wasn't working. It was like,
hot glue,
okay, I'll just stay there, hot glue the suit onto Ash. So
I went to HalCon one year in Halifax, and they had the 501st. They have a booth for cosplay repair because they're all skilled cosplayers. So the people who aren't stormtrooping around are manning the cosplay repair booth, helping people out when their costumes fall apart.
Comicon and Fan Expo did have the cosplay doctor.
Yep.
Walking around with his, you know, emergency kit and helping people out, and so it's at least that because you know you never know what's going to happen. Actually, what is your worst cosplay experience? Worst cosplay disaster?
Well, I mean the cosplay blowing out in the hotel room. Luckily, not at the con. That would have been embarrassing. I've had parts of my costume fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
I had one costume that my Dark Claw found a brilliant material to use to make it look really cool. Didn't take into consideration it didn't breathe.
It just told me here our live video ended.
Yeah, I just got that too.
We must have been an hour.
But we haven't been.
No. I thought we used to be able to go longer than an hour.
Yeah, that's weird. Let's just go back live.
Okay.
There you go. I'm back live. We've kicked everybody off, but hopefully they'll join right back up. So there you go. I'm back live now. That was weird. For the people that are actually listening to the podcast here on Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform, our Instagram live feed has just dropped. So we've just gone back live. Everybody is slowly joining back in. So here we go. I'm going to invite both Ed and Doug. Hang on a second. Here you go. And Ed, go live with Ed. There we go. There's Doug.
I'm back.
There we go. Welcome to hour 2 of the show.
So Ed, you were sorry, I forget what you were talking about now with all of this.
Well, Doug was saying about his cosplay failures.
Right.
Sorry, not failures, just
things that happen.
Malfunctions.
Right.
But I did this Dark Claw costume, which I loved. I wore it to Ad Astra, and I almost passed out from heat exhaustion, so I had to actually take it off and get back into regular clothes.
I remember you told me that story actually last time you were on, I think.
Yeah.
Ed, any bad cosplay experience?
I haven't had any malfunction poorly. Most of my stuff, as we were saying earlier, like try to test in the backyard here before I go anywhere, see how it's going to last. I've had ones where, not fitting quite properly, like I had these shin guards or whatever, like these kick pads, and I put them on, and as Nightmare Batman, I guess I didn't realize it was rubbing. So I, end of the day, you take it off, and you had a blister, and the blister became, you basically rubbed the blister off, and then you bled through everything, and so I got a couple scars on my legs from certain things. It's like, well, I guess that's cosplay, so whatever it takes, But other than that, I haven't had anything really fail. Or again, the other thing, I don't fabricate as much anymore. Besides 3D printing, like I used to try to make as much as I could by myself. Now I just cost play, as I say. I buy it.
Cosplay. I like that. Cosplay. You just buy it and wear it.
Yeah. Buy it, put it on. So yeah, 3D printing is about the only thing I make now. Even when I go back and I look at the stuff I was doing in early 2013, 2014, like I cringe when I look at it. But again, the quality of cosplay in 2013, 2012, 2013, compared to now, it's light years ahead. And
it is.
Just
it
the
really
technology that you can get now. Like, even things like 3D printing or Warblood didn't exist, 10 years ago.
EVA foam clay.
Yep.
Yeah. That for sure didn't exist 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Warblood may have existed, but it was so expensive. It still is expensive.
It still is expensive, yeah.
Back then, it was so expensive, it just was like only the professionals could afford it.
Most of it back then was like yoga mats and Mod Podge.
Yeah.
And now when, you can make screen accurate stuff, it just depends on how much quality you want to put into your work. So it definitely is a lot different hobby than it was when I first started.
I found that the tool I love the most now is my Dremel.
Oh yeah.
When I did my dark side, I started doing some contouring and carving and sculpting, and it just like the Dremel just really changed it. Because before, when I first did my dark side mask, it was smooth and it just looked so wrong.
Yeah. Did you just get the Dremel recently, or
No. I had one for a while, and I just started using it more.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the day I got a Dremel was the day that my foam work went up a completely different level.
Yep.
It's funny, actually, every tool that I buy brings my cosplay to another level, right? Every time I add a tool to my arsenal, it makes things easier or better or more accurate or whatnot, right? Like the Dremel was one of the big ones. I will say that. The Dremel, my bandsaw, and my 3D printer. Probably the three tools that have changed my cosplay game the most.
Yeah, I've thought about investing in a 3D printer. I'm not there yet. I still like making things the hard way.
Yeah, I just find that there's a level of accuracy that you can get with a 3D printer that is very, very hard to get by hand-built stuff. Mm-hmm. Again, like, the Predator biomask. The Predator suit is all foam, but the biomask is 3D printed. I'm not sure how I would have been able to make a biomask so accurate in foam. I mean, it would have looked like a Predator, but it wouldn't have been bang on like this one is. Right? Yeah. That's where I feel like the 3D printing gives you the advantage is you're able to make certain pieces to, like the vision mask.
Yeah. Well, the one I'm trying not to do now is fall down the resin printer hole.
Yeah.
I was looking at a resin printer today on Amazon, and then they had a like $160 coupon on it, and it was already knocked down in price. And I'm like, oh no, I don't.
Which
need
one was
another.
it?
I can't. I can't even remember which brand it was, but it was, it was going to be like about $570.
Yeah, could that have been the Yellow Goose Saturn by any chance?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that was it. So.
Yeah, I've been looking at that printer as well. It's not a large format.
No, it's only
printer,
about 7. It's only about 7.5 inch, but I figured.
But that's still bigger than most.
Yeah, and I
because
figured
most resin printers are tiny, right?
And I figured
this
7.5.
Big.
Whatever can make a helmet. I figure 7.5 inch is good for a helmet, but
you'd be able to print a helmet in 2 parts.
Yeah.
On that, like your Vision helmet, you would have been able to print them into the 2 parts.
Yeah.
In one shot on that printer, you wouldn't be able to print the whole thing. I don't think.
Most of my helmets, I kind of do 2 parts, except for I just printed a Captain America helmet. Captain America, I can do 1 shot. And I've got to redo my Snake Eyes helmet. I did it in 2 parts to begin with, but I want to do it as one part.
I like printing in multiple pieces because it gives you that flexibility when you're working with the individual pieces for sanding and painting.
Yep.
I'll give you an example. My Iron Man helmet. Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can see it on both. My Iron Man helmet, I printed in, I think it was 10 parts, which every piece of the helmet every plate is an individual piece that sticks together. So when you're doing painting and you want to paint the gold parts versus the red parts and so on and so forth, you don't have to mask or anything because it's all individual parts, right? So it makes it neat that way. Doing it that way, you can also print on a much smaller printer, but the end result is it's a lot more work because not only do you have to finish it, but you then have to glue it together and finish those seams. It's the seams that tend to be problematic. On something like this, there really is no seam except for a little tiny one in the middle of the face mask, but every other seam is an individual plate that sits on top of each other. But yeah. Guys, we have officially now been on for over an hour. Is there any other subject you guys wanted us to touch on before we go?
How about Black Adam? Give a little shout out to the DC fans.
So I thought you hadn't watched the trailer yet.
No, I did watch that one. I caught it after you had mentioned it.
Oh, okay, so you watched the Black Adam trailer?
Yes.
So, okay, can I start with this one?
Yes.
So, Black Adam to me was always a bad guy. I know in his history he hasn't always been a villain. I think he's been more of an anti-hero than a villain most of the time. I mainly know him only as a villain, so seeing him represented as a hero and part of the JSA and feels a little weird for a origin story to me. I feel like he should have been a villain before he becomes the hero, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
As far as the trailer, the standout for me, the best part is Dr. Fate.
Oh, I know. He looks so cool. I know you only see him for a fraction of a second, but he looks so cool.
I think, I can see, either this fall or next spring, there's going to be Dr. Fates everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Because that, Pierce Brosnan, I think he's so good, just what you're seeing in the trailer. As far as the rest of it, I don't know if they've given us enough yet to show who Black Adam is. It's hard to tell. Is he a member of JSA? Is he going to be that renegade, kind of like Aquaman at the beginning of Justice League, just, on a team but doesn't want to be there? But then where he says, heroes don't kill people, but I do. Hits the guy into the ocean. But I'm just excited for more DC content. I want
Agreed.
I don't live in one camp. I love DC. I love Marvel. Give it all to me. I want more I want more DC stuff, and give it to us however you want. If you want to make a DCU, if you want to make individual stories like what they did with Batman. I'm just excited for more DC stuff.
I was going to resurrect my Dr. Fate cosplay that I did a few years back, but I have a funny feeling that I won't get to it before the movie comes out, and as soon as that happens, there'll be, like you say, about 1,000 of them running around. So
it's it seems to be like in the cosplay world, there's a lot of the not the right term is bandwagon jumpers, but it's almost like bandwagon jumpers. You see a cool character, it's like, oh, we got to do that. So I could just see Dr. Fate. There'd be a bunch of Dr. Fates because the Dr. Fate characters always looked awesome. Like I always loved the design, like just the gold and the blue, and and also we're just talking about 3D printing. It's going to be like a 3D printing dream that you could make a really good very good version of the Dr. Fate mask.
Warbler and what's that stuff called? The gold leafing.
Yep.
You can get gold leafing inexpensively now, and it goes on Warbler brilliantly.
Oh, that
I saw a video of somebody gold leafing a Dr. Fate helmet. Actually,
yep.
There's a video on YouTube of somebody doing that. And it looks amazing.
Yep.
That actually have a nicer finish than paint.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree that Black Adam is gonna, I think, springboard a bunch of new stuff, right? Like we got to see Hawkman, which looks amazing.
Atom Smasher,
Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher.
Yeah.
A lot of characters that we haven't really seen on the screen yet.
We saw Fate in Smallville.
Well, we kind of saw him in Smallville. We saw his helmet. We never really see him, do we?
No, Dr. Fate did appear in Smallville.
Did he? I don't remember
it was
that.
In Constantine, we saw his helmet.
You might be right.
I'm hoping either in a post-credit scene, I would love to have a cameo of Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they've already basically said the next movie is going to be Shazam versus Black Adam.
Yeah, because like I'm excited for Fury of the Gods. Like, and I loved Shazam. Like Shazam, we watch it every Christmas here because it takes place at Christmas time, so it's a nice feel for a Christmas movie, and it kind of tugs at the heartstrings too. So, and I love Zach Levi as Shazam. Like, so I think just that dynamic of The Rock versus Zach, and Zach is not a small guy. Like he's a big guy too. Like we met him at Fan Expo. Was it 2018, 2017 or something like that? And he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's taller.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell that from the show Chuck. I can tell you that because
he
doesn't look anything like a big guy in Chuck.
We did the photo op. Ash and I jumped in with Tanith for her photo op, and he's taller than me.
Huh.
Like I had to look up at him. So, and there's not too many people I have to look up at.
His suit is apparently quite the suit, quite the production to put on and take off. It looks like just a bodysuit, but it's not. It's a multi-layered. I guess it's a muscle suit, right? It's I don't know how else to call it. There's the muscles, and then there's a suit layer, and then there's the Zenkai suit type finish,
and then there's the electronics and everything associated,
and
with
the
it.
electronics, and it's quite the suit. Yeah. No, I'm pretty excited for Black Adam. I love The Rock. I was into wrestling when The Rock was in wrestling. I was into wrestling in the Attitude Era. Mm-hmm. So The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, like those were, the years that I was big into wrestling. So I've always been a massive fan of The Rock. So I can't wait to see what he does with this role and where they go with this. And you're right. They do need to face off. They need to face off for sure. I really hope there's a cameo at the end, and then the next movie, boom, they face off, and then who knows? The Rock's been pretty vocal that he wants to face off against Henry Cavill's Superman.
I really we need more Henry Cavill Superman. Like I
agree.
we never really got his second movie. You know, like we got the Batman versus Superman, so it's not really a.
That was more of a Batman movie than a Superman movie.
Yeah, by the time you get in the director's cut, then you get some more Clark Kent stuff. But and then like by the time you get Justice League or the Zack Snyder's version, thing I like there, you got two different versions of Superman in that.
Mhm.
No, we need more Henry Cavill as Superman, more
Agreed.
DC stuff.
Agreed. And we have more DC stuff coming. We've got Flashpoint coming. We've got Batgirl coming.
Are we going to get Flashpoint though?
We are.
Because Ezra Miller has been busted for something else now, and
Are you serious?
I'm just afraid DC's going to just pull it and.
I don't know. I can't see a movie that's so far into production getting pulled.
Just recast him. Like, come on, don't deny us Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. I need this.
He's also back in Batgirl.
Yes, and I love the leaked images of the new suit.
Yeah, the new suit looks badass. It's very classic, but very different at the same time. I really like it.
No, it's almost like the mixture of Batman Returns and the Val Kilmer Panther suit. Like oh man,
just replace Ezra Miller with Grant Gustin.
Yeah, that works.
I still don't understand what the issue was with using Grant Gustin for the friggin' movies. Like, you already have a Flash that people like. Why aren't you using him?
At least they got to see like they met each other in that crisis.
They did, and they explained the whole multiverse thing, or DC's multiverse. I forget what DC calls it, but I still think they should have just used Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
To me, Ezra Miller's character feels more Wally West than Barry Allen anyway. Like, Barry Allen was never the funny, wisecracking, silly, clumsy kid.
Yeah.
That's Wally. To me, anyway. That was always more Wally. Barry, he was already an adult. He was already a forensics investigator by the time he became the Flash.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think they missed the mark there. I don't think Ezra Miller fit the role. For me, his suit is amazing. I love the armored style suit.
Oh, yeah.
The what was the video game? It's very much like that fighting video game, Injustice. It's very much Injustice style Flash. But Ezra, I don't think, for me, really fit the role. But Michael says the new suit is 100%. I'm assuming you're talking about the new bat suit. He also said my Paul Atreides costume was not cheap. Cosplay for sure. Going back to the cosplay remark, yeah, I don't know what suit you got. I'm assuming. Oh no, I do. Jeff did tell me you got the full
that was from Dune.
royal garb or whatever, right?
Yeah. Michael's suit from Dune that he.
Yeah.
Wore on Sunday, I think it was.
Was
it Sunday or no? It was Saturday, I think. I can't remember.
I'm trying to see if he posted any pictures of it.
It was Saturday because Michael, you were V on Sunday, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was V on Sunday, and yeah, he was Paul Atreides on Saturday. That outfit looks really good.
There we go, Saturday. Yes.
Yeah, and that's fully custom made. I'm gonna assume so. Yeah, I want one of the what do they call them? Still suits or the desert suits? What are they called? Anybody know?
I'm not a Dune.
I didn't watch Dune.
No.
You hang on. Any of the Dunes? Neither the original or this one?
I saw the original back like in what was it, 85, I think, or
yeah, the 80s
there.
version with Patrick Stewart and Sting and
Yep.
No, I've never done Dune.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, still suits is what they're called. I'm not a massive Dune fan. I shouldn't say that. I've never actually read any of the books because I think there's multiple books, but I loved the 80s Dune. So when they came out with the new one, I was all in for that, and it blew my friggin' mind. The visual effects were amazing, although I was a little bit annoyed they only gave us half the story. There's no real ending to the movie because, well, there's a part 2 now. So
yeah.
Now you got to wait for part 2 to get the ending to the story. But visually, it was amazing, and the designs the suit designs, the armor designs, the still suits. They were amazing. Michael says that's next, the still suit. Yeah, it's something I would love to figure out how to make, but it's probably a heck of a lot of work to put something together like that. But yeah, hey guys, we've been on for quite a while now. And before we go, anything you guys want to pitch? Any Instagram websites, Shopify's? I don't know, anything.
Well, as far as myself, you can find me on all social media as Snowhawk Cosplay. And also you can find me every third Thursday of the month on the True North Nerds Network, wherever you get your podcasts. I have a podcast with my podcast partner, Ryan, called Tales from Collectiverse, and we talk about action figures. So those of you watching either on this feed or the Instagram feed, everything behind me here is some of my collection.
Holy crap.
Some of our features we talk about is 6 figures a month. So we see what we bought this month, future figure report, and also talking toys. So we talk about stories of us collecting toys when we were kids.
I think Ed has a action figure problem.
I don't have an action figure problem. I have a shelving problem. I don't have enough shelves.
There you go. You don't have enough shelf space is your problem. Yes.
No, I have no problem with action figures. It's the shelving space to put them.
Hey, there you go. Doug, what about you? Anything you want to pitch, my friend, before we go?
Well, you can just follow my progress on my Spooky Space Kook cosplay from Scooby-Doo. Art of the Con on Instagram. I don't post much on Facebook these days, so most of my stuff goes up there.
I'll admit I'm jealous I didn't think of that one before you did, because that's one I totally would have rocked. Space Kook is one of the best by far Scooby-Doo villains.
Oh yeah,
monsters or whatever you want to call them.
Creepy neighbor real estate scammer.
Yeah. Hey, listen, guys. Thank you. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I said, did you ever see that episode of Supernatural where they crossed over with Scooby-Doo?
I did not.
That was the best.
That was brilliant.
They're like in cartoon
yep.
form, or
in a cartoon. Yep.
They get sucked into a possessed TV.
Yep.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Scooby Natural. It's
Scooby Natural.
A Night of Fright is No Delight is the episode that they're doing, and they've changed it dramatically, and it is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Jensen Ackles' character, I can't, Sam or Dean, I can't remember which one it is. It's like, I'll go with Daphne.
Yep.
Oh my God, I'm seeing screenshots here. That's hilarious.
Yep.
I don't watch a lot of Supernatural, but I made a point to watch that one.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That looks pretty funny.
It's on Prime.
It is on Prime. All perfect. I'll go check it out.
Yep.
Season 13, episode 16.
Yep.
Does that sound right? Yeah. Season 13, episode 16. I'll have to go check that out. That was definitely after I stopped watching. I think I dropped off at, I think it was season 9 or maybe 11, or I don't know. It was so long ago now. But guys, thanks for joining me here today. It was really appreciated. I really, really appreciate you guys coming on. Everybody's already logged off now. It looks like other than I think Michael is the only one still left with us.
Yep.
Oh no, Jennifer's still there as well. But thanks guys for joining me today. It's really, really appreciated. Jeff, if you watch this after the fact, hope you're feeling better, bud. But we're gonna have these guys back again because I think you might have done just as good, if not a better job than he did. So.
Well. No, thanks for having us on. And also, absolutely. Doug, I'm glad that we're able to chat since we only got to see each other shortly on the weekends. So,
yeah, well, hey, these things happen.
Yep.
Well, excellent.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, anytime, Doug. You guys are welcome anytime. But that'll be it for today, everybody. Stay geeky. Oh, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you watch this after the fact on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. It really, really helps us out. But that'll be it. Stay geeky. We'll see you next week. And thanks for everybody here on Instagram as well. We will see you guys next week as well.